So no matter what city you live in, transportation is a big part of your life. And it's the same in Accra or in Kumasi, which are two of the largest metropolitan urban areas here in Ghana. And for the past 2 days I had been in Kumasi, and I thought I would do a short video about how you get around. So of the various modes of transportation, I mainly use two. The first, taxis. The taxis are quick, they're easy to flag down because they're everywhere, and they're fairly inexpensive depending on how good of a rate you can haggle. The taxis vary a lot. Some of them are somewhat smaller, some of them are more of a standard size vehicle, some are very clean, very nicely put together, some are less so. What's very rare to find, no matter which taxi you're in, is a seatbelt. They might have the strap or they might have the buckle, but I don't think I've seen both together in the same vehicle yet, which is somewhat frightening considering that the traffic is outrageous in Accra. It's very, very packed, very hectic. All of the taxis and the cars and the buses are all hustling and jockeying for the same place. So it gets a little crazy. Having a seatbelt would feel a little bit nicer, but when in Accra, you just roll with it, literally. So the second main form of transport, which probably most people take, and I've only taken once, is the TroTro. TroTro is a vehicle between, the size is kind of between a van and a bus. It can fit probably anywhere between 15 and 20 people, depending on how many small children you can squeeze in there, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. These vehicles they rule the road. They absolutely dominate traffic. They squeeze in anywhere they can, which is impressive considering their size. They're a bit frightening to watch as they weave in and out of cars and squeeze into small junctions and create lanes that definitely did not exist before, but they're efficient. They get people to where they need to go, and they are a fraction of the cost of taxis, which is definitely their largest appeal. So the difficulty of the TroTro, one of the main difficulties, is figuring out where it leaves from and where it stops. So there's the main driver, but there's also a person called the mate, and the mate is swinging open the door, letting people hop on. He swings it open, lets them get off, but he also calls out where the next stop is going to be. So if you're just walking along and you hear it, you can just jump on and go to that next stop. So it's kind of confusing. It's difficult to figure out where you're going unless you already have an established path. So whether in a taxi or a TroTro or even taking your own personal vehicle or walking, traffic is unavoidable in Accra and Kumasi as well. There are peak congested hours as far as the traffic, but it's going to happen, so you can just be prepared. A lot of the taxi drivers, I've noticed, will go off on strange roads and curve and weave and do all these things, and sometimes I'm thinking, what on earth are they doing, until I realize that they bypass a ton of traffic. So a lot of the times the taxi drivers can figure out ways of avoiding it, but when it is unavoidable, at least there's plenty of merchandise on the road for sale. You can sit there and have a whole meal if you wanted to pick up some new clothes, lamp, power strip. So traffic is interesting. It's always busy. It's never boring. That's for sure. So TroTros, taxis, traffic, transportation in Accra is never dull, never boring, always hustling, always bustling. And I think I've got a pretty good hang of it thus far. I'm sure that there'll be more surprises and interesting experiences to come. That's all for now, and I'll post a video about my week and / beginning of the new week here in Kumasi very soon. Lots of exciting things to share about that. Bye for now.